Family, how's it going? This is Gerald with houseflippingguide.com, and I wanted to go ahead and give a response to a couple of questions that I had received regarding different parts of the wholesale process. So one of the questions was, when I give the property to the cash buyer, if I'm the wholesaler and I give the property to the cash buyer, do I go ahead and do another contract? Do I do another purchase contract, whatever that is? Well, to answer that question, when you go ahead and deal with a cash buyer, so you already have the property under contract with the seller. When you're dealing with a cash buyer, what you want to use is something called an assignment agreement. It's an assignment agreement. What you're doing is you're assigning your equitable interest of the property from yourself to the cash buyer. Okay? So that answers that question. The other question was, when we go to close the property, does the cash buyer give me the money, or how does that work? How do we go to close? So when you're going to close on a wholesale deal, what you do is this. Any documentation that you receive, you go ahead and you give it on over to the closing agent or the title and escrow. And the reason I interchange those two is in some states, you have a title and escrow company oftentimes. In some areas, what you have is something called a closing agent, which is a lawyer, an attorney. And so in some areas, some of you have attorneys, some of you have escrow companies that you deal with. So what you want to do is any documentation you have, go ahead and give it on over to closing. Closing meaning either a closing agent or a title and escrow company. I'm just going to use the word closing. Go ahead and give that documentation on to closing. Okay. What your closing agent will do is, once those documentations are in, what they will do is they will go ahead and contact the buyer at that time and receive any and all monies that are needed to go ahead and close out the deal. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and answer those two questions because I know it could be confusing. And hopefully I cleared that up for you. So let me go ahead and go over that second question again. When you go ahead and you assign your contract to the cash buyer, you're going to go ahead and give that documentation on to closing, your closing agent or your title and escrow company. When you go ahead, you give it on over to them. That closing agent will contact that cash buyer, and that cash buyer will go ahead and close out the deal and bring all monies that are due for the property to go ahead and close out that deal. Okay? So what I have, guys, is I have, to make the process easier, I am offering a wholesale course. That's one of the things that I do have within my store. I'm offering a wholesale course, and the course is entitled How to Wholesale a Property for $10, which is the title of the course itself. So if you want an easier understanding of how that process works, feel free to go ahead and look at the description below and go ahead and click that button. If y'all found value in the video, please go ahead and click the like button. Share it with family and friends. Also, many of these questions that you have, I want you all to think about joining the House Flipping Family Facebook group. Going on close to 10,000 members in the group now. Okay. Once again, guys, you all have an incredible day. Take care.